If you go way back and have a look at some of my early videos, you'll find that a lot of them are on making off-grid wood stoves out of LPG gas bottles, propane bottles. Well, over the last couple of days I've made two more of these, both the same. One's going to be brown and the other is black. So here I am, just painting them, assembling them and getting them ready to parcel up and send away on the courier tomorrow. You'd think that the paint I use is full of something like unobtainium or something because it costs a fortune. But it's the best paint I could find and I haven't had any problems with it so long as I apply it to the manufacturer's system, which is a very complex acid etch cleaning surface prep, and you must use the correct thinners and then lots and lots of thin coats. Only I think I'm putting on about 5 coats. So here I am doing the surface prep. I painted the other parts last night. They're ready for their second or third coat. But as I say, I put about 5 coats on and these things come out looking really nice. I've been making these stoves for just on 20 years now. So I completely lose track out of how many I must have done. They get sold to people who are building tiny homes and people who are fitting out yurts and teepees, house boats, house trucks. Some people use them in studios outside in their garden. They've been very, very popular because they don't require any certification. You can cook on them, and they're a funky little unit that is made out of mostly recycled products. They've been very, very popular. I've played around over the years with different fuels. I've made one that similar shape to this actually, but a smaller diameter. It was 2 bottles welded on top of each other, and it worked using a drip-fed diesel, and it was a low heat output but very, very clean and perfect for in the cabin of a yacht. We gimbal mounted it to the wall so that even when the yacht was on heel leaning over, the stove sat more or less upright. It was a bit of a difficulty getting the chimney to work. We had to put a flexible section in the chimney flue, and we had to heavily weight the bottom of the cylinder to make it stay upright when the boat was heeling over. Other ones I've done have used drip-fed waste oil from car engines and fish and chip fat from takeaway shops. The oil is vaporized as it hits a hot plate that keeps its heat inside the stove, and operates with a pretty clean emission. One of the great things about that design is that it doesn't produce much ash at all, and you can burn the fire every day, all day, into the night, and you will only need to clean out the ash pan around once a week. But one difficulty I had with that design was that they only go when you've got them going full raw. When you start to turn them down, they do get a little bit smoky and a little bit smelly. So it's not something that I encourage people to do unless they're either wanting to heat lots of water for a spa pool or a swimming pool, or they're trying to keep a big workshop warm. If you want to fit them domestically, they're not good when you turn them down to a low heat. These videos I mentioned that I did a series some time ago, probably 2.5 years ago, there's videos in there that show you how you can make your own propane bottle wood stove. I recommend that you get in there and have a look and just see how a nice stove can be built at very, very little cost. My glazier tells me that these windows are made from glass that has to be imported from Germany, and it costs $700 per square yard. Luckily, my little windows are only the size of a cigarette packet, so they don't cost me that much. But I make every effort I can to make a nice job of these little stoves. The small parts are all laser cut, and the fittings, the nuts and bolts, are all stainless steel. I mentioned that paint earlier. It's simply the best paint that I can get. It's heat proof to something like 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. I've never had a failure with it. It's amazing stuff. These little grates, I've tried so many places to get grates cast. Casting of grates is just a thing that doesn't happen anymore in New Zealand anyway. All the foundries are closing down. So I fabricate the grates, and they are a consumable item. They only last probably 3 years before they burn out, but I only charge a very small amount for a replacement grate. These heat shields are awesome. They let me push these stoves right up into a corner, because having a heat shield attached to the wall and having this heat shield on the stove has an incredible effect. I can push these stoves up to within 4 or 5 inches of a wood panelled wall, or even the side of a fabric couch. And yeah, it gets warm, but because they're only a small fire, they don't put out a massive amount of heat. They're only designed for small spaces. They're working really, really well. Right, that was such a short video. I feel we've got time for a bit of tool porn before Mum gets back. Something I've just bought recently that I'd love to let you guys know about. You may have already seen them, but it's new to me, so I had to share it. Now, this is my bucket of blisters. In this bucket, I've got all my rivet guns. These are rivet guns that have given me some grief over the years. They've all got their own uses, but this one gives me blood blisters. This one gives me migraines because the airline gets tangled in around things, and when I've been doing a whole heap of riveting, I end up with a massive knot that is so hard to undo. This one? Well, this one gives me RSI. When you're trying to use this small rivet gun, it kills your arms when you're doing big rivets. It's really hard. At the end of the day. This one gives me happy memories. I've had this one for donkey's years. Look at the bruising up here where it's been bashed with the hammer. This thing's had a hiding over the years, but I still keep it even though it's been replaced by these other rivet guns. They all have their uses, but my latest toy is coming up. Cordless drill? It's not what you'd expect. Of course, you use a cordless drill for drilling the holes for your rivets, but you get yourself another cordless drill and you can really get things going. This is my latest riveter. I'd never seen anything like it in all my years of riveting. But how it works is it turns rotary motion from a drill into pulling motion that a rivet requires. So all you got to do is hold on to it, put a rivet in, push the rivet in the hole and pull the trigger, and the rivet pulls up and breaks off. When it's done that, you put it in reverse, reverse the rivet stalk out, stick in your next rivet, and here's how it works. You hold on to it here, pull the trigger, it pulls the rivet up and then snaps it off at the appropriate time. Bang. Snapped, reverse, pull out the stalk, and you're on to the next rivet. Super fast, no RSI, no blood blisters, and no migraines from untangling the air hones. I'm loving this. Oh, and the best price, $25 New Zealand, which is about 16 US. You will find them. Just search for Rivet Gun Drill.